everyone. Welcome to Higher Self Podcast. Thanks for joining. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, I hope you know how much I seriously appreciate you. Today, I do have my first guest on my podcast, and I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Hello to all Higher Self podcast viewers. My name is Jeremy Villa. You guys can just call me Jeremy. And I am her very first guest. Nevea, thank you so much for having me. I'm very much honored.
I'm so happy that you are here. And you guys, I'm very excited that Jeremy is going to be my first guest because I do want you guys to, truly take in, how he is responding, his body language, his enthusiasm, everything about it, because I am not just bringing on anybody on this podcast. I do need the energy, and I feel like he brings it, and I'm just super excited because he's my first. So let's get into it. Obviously, he did already say his name, so we're just going to kind of get into where you're from, a little bit of your background, and just a brief little overview of who you are.
So I was born and raised in the Philippines, and basically I grew up in this just small suburbs.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and it's a city called Cavite, and that's basically where I grew up with my family, and I just sort of remember me being always outside when I was a kid. I was always the type of kid where I would just because kids nowadays, they would just always focus on playing on their phones and tablets and stuff like that. But when I was a kid, bro, I would always go out with my neighborhood friends, and we would just always play this sort of games and stuff. And I would just always stay late because my mom and my dad, they both work and they come home very late. So I would just always try to sneak out whenever I can because it's so boring inside, and the only thing that I would just do inside is basically study. But that's at the time I didn't really pay attention to my studies because preschool is not really that serious. But yeah, that's basically how it. And so I think.
Did you grow up with a traditional family?
Well. What is that traditional family?
By traditional family, I kind of just mean did you grow up with I feel like there's a usual way of okay, so you grow up, you do your 12 years of school,
right.
You go to college, you become a fucking doctor, you retire at 60. Is that what your family had? Do you feel like that's how your family lives, or is that how you guys perceive the ultimate goal of life?
You know what? I think the most common factor of Asian families or living in an Asian family background is you're basically expected to follow whatever your ancestors have done. For me personally, a lot of, not just my family, but also a lot of Filipinos that I know, they mostly either do nurses, doctors, lawyers, engineers, or stuff like that. But in my family, a lot of us, especially my uncles, my aunt, my cousins, they were all mostly nurses. So I think that's somehow how I got convinced to do nursing.
Okay.
Yeah, and so my mom, she's a teacher.
Oh,
She teaches math for junior high school kids, and my dad, he basically is just a house husband. He used to work at a Nestle industry.
Okay.
But then he retired so that he could focus on taking care of my brother and I at the time.
Oh,
because when I was in the Philippines, my mom was the only one who's working. So
Okay.
basically, because then they know that if none of them are on our side, it's because they couldn't. I mean, they can trust hiring some maids to take care of us. But then there was this one issue where one of our maids, I remember when I was a kid, she would not really abuse us, but she mistreats us in a way.
Oh, really?
And then at the time I thought that wasn't really a mistreatment because
You're a kid.
I was a kid. I didn't know such a thing. And then one time, I think my mom kind of saw some spots in my skin, especially my arms. She asked me, how did I get this? And then I was well, my maid would just always pinch me a lot of the times. I guess it's because I was cute enough. But because you know how when you see a cute little kids, you can't stop
Yeah.
yourself on pinching them. But I think at that time my maid was a little too,
Yeah, that's
abusive
it,
about
yeah.
it, and it's kind of weird, and it's also a little, I would say violent.
Yeah.
Because it's it's not
Yeah,
your
you
job
don't
to
do that.
hurt a little kid, and I was a little kid at the time, so I didn't really know such thing, and at that time my mom knew instantly that my maid couldn't be trusted, and then after that my maid got fired, and then my
That makes
dad
me
decided,
happy.
yeah, and then my dad decided to quit his job so he could take care of us. And then my mom, I think it was supposed to be my dad. He initially wanted to um, be a breadwinner, but then I think my mom is sort of like the one who had like a little more experience when it comes to, working and job, like, because she's my mom is a very hardworking woman, by the way. She has a lot of degrees.
Aw, hell yeah, that's
And
awesome.
unlike my dad, I mean, I'm not discrediting my dad. My dad is very hardworking as well.
Yeah.
But in terms of like working experiences, my mom has it all. She went to university. She worked her ass off basically to getting her degree, and then my mom is also the reason why I'm here in Arizona.
Oh,
And
really?
and then we'll walk through it later. But I do miss the Philippines so much, if I'm being honest, because that's where all my friends are. That's where I grew up. That's where all my
Yeah.
family. And then because I moved here in Arizona on November 5th, 2021.
Okay.
I remember that because that's my birth week. I was born on November 1st. And at the time it was COVID. So basically it was a little strict when it comes to like protocols and stuff like that. And then I was initially supposed to come here like sometime September of 2021 or October, but then I did a COVID test, and it turns out I was positive. So I
Oh,
had
wow.
to, yeah. So I had to stay for like 2 weeks quarantine in my aunt's condominium, which
Dang.
really sucks because it was all prepared. I was just supposed to like leave right away, but then we can't really stop if one of us got COVID, especially me
Yeah.
since I was the only one who's about to leave at that time.
Yeah.
But I guess it was kind of great because I celebrated my birthday in the Philippines because I
Aw.
thought I wasn't gonna be able to celebrate it, but I was, and I did celebrate it with my family and with some of my friends. But it's a little sad because I wasn't really able to hang out with my friends, like all of my friends in there, because first of all I had no choice but to like stay in my aunt's condominium because that's where I did my checkup, like all these documents that I need to get ready for me to get here. So I was a little away, and I didn't had enough time to really like talk to them and hang out with them and stuff like that. But I promised them one thing, is that once I got a decent job and then I got enough money, I'm gonna come back home and I'm gonna surprise them.
Oh,
For sure.
how exciting.
So yeah, I know.
Awesome. That's so cool because like you guys are also like just hearing about Jeremy, but this is also kind of my first time really getting into it with Jeremy and like getting to know his background. We met from work, so obviously it was always just like a hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Good vibes, good little chat.
True.
But I am just getting to also know that about Jeremy, so that's so cool, dude. Shout out to your parents. I feel like I love good parents that actually do protect their kids and notice things like that because a lot of parents don't. A lot of parents let that slide, and that's just so awesome. So shout out to your mom and dad. They really did their big one. There. That's so
They're my
awesome.
heroes.
That's so sweet. Well, awesome. Okay, sweet. So then I wanted to know, like, since that's basically what you're getting into nursing, is that like your actual like passion or like area of focus for life?
You know what's funny? I feel like because of the influence that my aunt and uncle and some of my fellow Filipinos of doing nursing, I think the only reason why I feel like nursing is for me is because basically I see them as my, well, I wouldn't say inspiration, but like I normally see them taking this course. But then if I'm being honest, I don't think that's really what I wanted to do because when I was in um when I was in high school, I was doing theater.
Okay.
I didn't realize that I loved acting until one of my best friends recommended me to join theater. And because I'm a huge fan of cinema, I love watching movies, I love watching shows. I would always like watch these shows and kind of like reflect to myself. And then I discovered that, you know what, maybe I do love acting. Because one time there was this movie that I watched. It was a very emotional movie. It's called The Last 10 Years.
Okay.
It's a Japanese film, by the way.
Okay.
It's a very emotional movie. And then I would just like find myself crying with them. And then after the movie ends, I think it took me like a good hour just crying my ass off.
Oh my god.
I know. And then I went to the bathroom.
Because you're so in tune with your emotions.
I know. And then that's kind of like when I discovered that I think I can somehow manage to control my emotions if I, if I do acting.
Yeah.
And then I went to the bathroom, look in the mirror, tried to like cry, and then it was so easy for me. It felt like a natural acting for me to just sort of like cry, because I think, I don't know, I just love like pretending or portraying a character that I think, although it's a little challenging, but also I'm very like into it. You know what I mean? Like I love the thought of like playing these badass characters or some cutesy little characters that has a cute background maybe, or like a little like cheerful character. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do think acting has been the love of my life for sure.
Okay, that's awesome.
I know. And if I have the opportunity to try to do auditions, I will, which I'm gonna work on in the future, hopefully. But yeah, honestly, I think acting would be a better fit for me for sure. I don't know where nursing came from. Although I do love the thought of nursing, because you get paid higher. But like honestly, the reason
I don't know, dude. You might get paid higher as an actor.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But like the thing is, whenever I do mention acting, people would just like tell me, I don't think you'll get paid like in a certain in a certain amount of money that you wanted to. But like really, it's a passion that I really wanted for a very long time, and I've always like tried to hide it because I guess I wasn't really confident, because basically I think my family would just like expect us to choose a career background that everyone is familiar with, and number one is nursing. And at that time, I guess because of the influence that my family gave to me, I think that's somehow why I chose nursing. But honestly, I did, because I took a year gap from right after I graduated high school. I took a year gap. I focused on working since last year. And I did a lot of thinking. And no matter what I think, I still ended up in a conclusion where I don't think nursing would be a good fit for me. And the other option that would just like come up to my mind is acting or doing theater stuff. And so I think I will work on that and see how this year would go by. Yeah.
I hope you do work on that, because I feel like that is so perfect. Like that's the whole point of me asking the questions, because I didn't know either. But I feel like a lot of people fall into the category of like what is expected rather than what they truly love, or some people don't even know what they truly love or anything because they don't take the time to like sit with themselves and figure it out. People are, especially when you have like a family that I feel like is super successful in certain like areas like nursing or anything, then yeah, like they'll expect you to kind of, follow in their footsteps. But I feel like that's so awesome that you like acting, because that's so out of the ordinary, I feel like. And that's definitely, if you can go and cry and you love to portray a character, like that's not something that clicks for me, I can't go in a mirror and fucking cry. I used to love like, I'm singing. I used to think I would want to be an actor when I was young, because I loved like little shows like Shake It Up and stuff like that, But as I grew up, obviously I realized maybe I'm probably actually not supposed to be an actor, because I don't ever try to like even tap into it,
Right.
So I feel like the fact, like that's what I feel like too, like if you feel like that and you like know it in your heart that like, because it sounds like you do, like if you know it in your heart that like that would be like probably like your best like path in life to truly like follow, and I really do believe that you would genuinely kill shit, and I feel like you would get paid amazingly for it. I don't think that like, obviously you're gonna get paid great as a nurse too, but I feel like if you follow your passion and you really like put your all into something that you genuinely love, the money is just gonna follow behind you anyway, it's gonna come, because you're passionate about it, and money makes the world go round, so it has to,
For sure.
And that's so exciting. I'm so happy that you said you're gonna. I hope you do get into like, because I know that they have like websites, whether like you have to pay for them, because sometimes I feel like you have to pay for websites, and a lot of people think that it's a scam or something, but I also like feel like people do like get stuck in like that mindset that it's a scam or whatever, because you sometimes you do have to put money in to make money, you know.
true.
So like, yeah, you'll be paying for a subscription or something, but you will get active acting calls that are like looking for auditions. And I know you'd fucking land one, dude, if you really did. I swear, I know you would. And that is so perfect that you said it on here, dude, because I just feel like it's just gonna be so big, and I'm so excited for you this year. I'm so excited for you. Oh my
I
gosh.
appreciate that.
Of course. That's so awesome. So I also did want to ask, I have a couple of questions here. If you guys could tell, I do have a little booklet with me. So I am going through some questions for Jeremy because, I mean, we can go off tops, but I don't want to obviously lose track of anything. So the next question is going to be, what sparked your journey of like realizing that, you know, because obviously Higher Self podcast is for people that I feel like are working towards the best for themselves. So what sparked like that little movement for you to like realize that like you're meant for more and that you're going to get there? Because I feel like a lot of people too, they don't think that deep, or they're just kind of really cool living like their regular life, which is awesome, you know. Like if you're content, that's all that matters.
Right.
But I feel like a lot of people do have like a drive where like they feel like they're meant for more, and I feel like if you are, it's because you are, you know. So what really like, what do you feel like there was any moment in your life where like that like kind of clicked for you, that like you're more than just a bag of bones and stuff right now that's working, you know?
I love that question, by the way. I didn't see that coming.
I
was like-
we were talking about it
No,
too.
because I was like talking to her about like, if you're gonna ask me some questions, just sort of like put me in the spot, because I love like having this like surprise questions that I would never see it coming. But I do want to say that you know what, I feel like because I took a year gap of just focusing on work, one of the reasons why I did that is because first, I don't want to like rush through going to college and thinking, oh, this is how I think people would love me to do. So I guess I would just like go with the flow and do it right away. But then just right before like the start of summer of last year, I had this thought that, you know what? I don't think this is the right thing for me to do yet. And so I decided to took a year gap to kind of just like have this deep thinking of really what I wanted to do and take my time to really figure out exactly what pathway should I choose, which is why I focus on working for the meantime, save money, have this goal of saving as many as I can, because I'm not really in a rush. Like I have a lot of friends who started their college right after graduating high school, and I'm proud of them. I'm happy for whatever they're aiming to or whatever their goals are. But for me, I'm not ashamed that I took a year gap, because a lot of us people, we tend to just like sort of take our time as much as we can, because it's not like the life is gonna end right away. We have a lot of time. We just sort of like need to take our time briefly and to think really and ask ourselves really, what exactly should we do to make our future better? You know what I mean? And I guess as I took a gap year, and just focus on working, it had me thinking like, it had me like giving me this sort of ideas that once I reach my 30s, I wanted to do this, like traveling, visiting certain places, because I have this dream that once I get a lot of money, I wanted to just do either a solo travel or a travel with my friends going all over the world. And that, I guess, gives me the motivation to, start saving money and to really start thinking or taking my time to think about what I wanted to do, which is, acting. But acting aside, I think working on trying to figure out my time to sort of, I guess, decide the thing that I wanted to do the most is one of the things that really pushes me to keep on working hard. And although I'm working to earn some money, I'm not contented there, because I wanted to do way more than that, and I wanted to work on getting paid much higher than that. But for the meantime, I'm still in the process of just like sort of figuring out, processing, thinking, trying to, just sort of like really think about what I wanted to do because I guess it's because I'm just really not thinking about the thought of trying to rush myself because I know some of people they think that once they miss a year of college it's gonna ruin their lives but I feel like it doesn't really end there, you know what I mean? As long as you have the perseverance to think really hard and to really motivate yourself to push harder, I think that somehow will lead you to a success that you never expected to happen.
Exactly.
You know?
I feel like the fact that you are giving yourself the time to like take that time to think for yourself and think what is it that I do really want to do. A lot of people don't. A lot of people do rush right into it. And that's I feel like too because you said, we do have a lot of time and I feel like whenever you think about it like that, you do have a lot of time realistically because like obviously the end goal like I'm hoping to obviously freaking get to my elderly years. I do want to live my full life. I genuinely hope that obviously that does work out for me. But I feel like especially whenever you're like thinking of it like that, like I do have time and you are giving yourself the space you need to figure out which way you want to go, especially because we're 20. We forgot to mention that, but Jeremy's also 20. I'm 20. And I feel like a lot of people in their 20s feel like, oh my God, what the fuck am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing?
Right.
And we don't really give ourselves the time to just relax and enjoy and figure it out. Sometimes I feel like it just naturally feels like you gotta be on go or you are rushed, and we're not at all. And I feel like that's such a beautiful thing that you're doing that for yourself because it is going to work out for you and you are going to end up right where you need to be, And that's I'm so happy for you. I really am.
So sweet.
That was so perfect. Of course. And that's going to lead us into our next question, which what are my fucking handwriting. What are common challenges that you face while trying to be your best self?
That's such a good question. Wow. Oh my God. I think with how people expect me to do what they think I should do, because when we try to do our goals by ourselves, we tend to think that we just wanted to focus on it more and to figure out really what I guess we wanted to make sure how we're gonna be able to improve it more. But then there are certain people that expects us to do a different one, and also I think I had that experience where some of my family members they think what I wanted to do is not suitable for me, and it kind of just like discouraged me at some point. But then one day, I think I just realized that really, no matter what they say, I feel like it doesn't really matter because this is who I am, and whatever the fuck I want, sorry for the curse word, guys. Whatever the fuck I want, that's how I wanted to strive more harder.
Yes.
Because I'm not gonna let these people, whoever you are, I don't care if you're my family member, I don't care if you're my friend, I don't care whoever you are, because you're not gonna stop me from doing what I wanted to do in my life, And I do understand some of your concerns, but if I'm not gonna try this out, I feel like I'm gonna regret it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because really, the point of, I guess, trying to figure things out for ourselves is because we wanted to make sure how this is gonna work on for us. Because if we didn't try, or if we didn't at least make an effort to do whatever we wanted to do, we're gonna regret it for sure. And I think that's the last thing that I ever wanted to experience, because trying certain things is not gonna kill us.
Exactly.
It's not gonna kill us, you guys, as long as you just really showcase how really dedicated you are in what it's gonna work. It's gonna freaking work. It has to. Like, even if it doesn't, try again.
Yeah.
As long as you keep pursuing yourself and encouraging yourself that it's gonna work out. Really, I think the best I guess like cheer, or well, not cheer, but like the best your best friend is really yourself. because if you're not gonna support yourself,
Okay.
really, it's not gonna work out. So like really, I guess just support yourself. If you believe in yourself, I do feel like you're somehow gonna reach to that level of
Yeah.
success that you think you're meant to be, and that's why I would just like have this mindset, like no matter how people would just criticize me, because I had that a lot, comments, whatever, and at first I was having a hard time. There was this moment where I guess I was a little depressed. Like I would just sort of like spend hours, days in my bedroom just thinking about how those words affected me. But then one day I sort of just thought that maybe, you know what, no, these words, they don't matter. Because at the end of the day, it's you against the world. You know what I mean?
Yup.
And as long as you have the moral support of yourself, it's definitely gonna work out. Just prove to everybody else that you're more than what they wanted you to do. You know what I mean? So really just the self support is meaningful to me more than anything.
Such a good answer. I'm so happy. Oh my god, I feel like, he's the perfect first guest. I'm so excited. But that's so awesome because I feel like that is something that so many people do also like just struggle with the fact that, especially when it's family, I feel like it does matter more because for me, with my family doing this, everybody's different with everyone too. Everybody gets a different perspective of you. Everybody, you interact with everyone differently. You relate to everyone differently, And I feel like with my family, I never freaking thought like, okay, like it clicked a couple of years ago for me that like, okay, I always knew that whatever it was that I was going to do in life was going to be to help people, but I never knew in which way. I never knew if I was going to build like houses for the homeless, if I was going to get involved in like children's like I don't know, teaching children, like watching over children, caring, like, just protecting kids, really.
Exactly.
And it really clicked to me that, you know what, maybe I want to do a podcast because I feel like that's the only way that I could reach out to everyone and make it very known about how, like, serious I am because the podcast is just the beginning, but the overall goal is to protect children. So I'll get into that more through every episode. But I feel like when I was like figuring that out for myself, I mean, it feels weird. It feels weird to pull out a camera sometimes because I'm not used to that. I didn't grow up like a freaking famous person or like an influencer. Just cameras, like it was weird for my family. My family is going to watch someone on camera. We're not going to pull it out,
Right.
And so for me to be the person that wanted to pull it out and be out there and be big, felt kind of scary because I know that's not like how my family sees me. Like they would kind of like I felt like they would look at me and be like, she's pretending, or that's not who the fuck she is. Like when did this come up, or when did she just start acting like that? Like that's not really her.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because whenever I would like think like that, it would keep me away from the camera, And then I realized, dude, what the fuck? Like I'm the one waking up every single day to myself. I'm the one who goes to sleep every single day by myself, wake up in my own mind, go to sleep to my own thoughts. So it doesn't matter what anyone thinks because you're the one waking up by yourself. You're the one doing everything on your own. You're the one even taking in, like you either take in those thoughts too, and like how I did, kept me away from the camera. Or I could just fucking, obviously like take those thoughts but throw them to the side because what are they other than thoughts and words, from other people. And if you don't interpret it like in yourself, I feel like, and take it to where it could like, freaking discourage you or anything like that, like you have the power to say like, to reject that in your mind.
True.
And I feel like I was just so nervous about, how my family is going to think, how they're going to think of me,
Right, yeah.
Because it's not something I do normally. But I was like, you know what? We change too. That's the whole point, that we change so much.
For sure.
Every single day. We can be a new person that we could be whoever we want to be every single day that we wake up. We could be somebody new. We could do something different. So it's like, yeah, this is who I am.
Agreed.
And this is who I am now, at least, like this is who I grew to become.
Right.
And I'm just so proud of us. I'm so proud
We
of
did
us.
this, girl.
Yeah,
We did this.
we did. We're here.
that.
It's so
Really.
awesome, and it's just
gosh.
the start. Like I said, we're only 20. Like we have so many years to go. We have so much to grow.
Plenty of time.
And even if you aren't 20 watching this, even if you do feel like you're older, you still have so much time. So much time. You have every single day. And you have all the time that there is. That's the thing too. We all have all the time that there is. Like nobody gets an hour more in their day or an hour less. Take advantage now.
Take advantage, really.
And that's gonna bring us to our next question. What are some wait, what? Yeah. Sorry guys, I'm sorry. All right. What practices do you use to tap into your higher self? Like what practices do you feel like get your head out of that discouragement?
That's a very interesting question because I never really had this kind of thought before. But I do think that having a good, people around you is one of the good, I think, practice to be with because I think growing up, um, I was surrounded with good people around me, especially my family, my brother, my mom, my dad. I do think they're one of the strongest factor of how I become who I am today. And really just the thought of that, I'm just so very grateful for having them because without them, I don't think I could become, whoever I am today. And I do also want to mention my best friends that who has been with me since day one. They never left me. They thought of me as their sibling. And oh my gosh, stop. I'm good.
Oh, dude, if you
No,
know
please.
why would you so fucking don't take us there.
This is like the part that I don't want to do.
It's beautiful.
It's because I feel like whenever sorry whenever I think about my best friends, it's such a very wonderful thing because a lot of people you really don't know who you're gonna be able to trust with because I've encountered a lot of people that I thought I'm gonna be best friends with them for the rest of my life. Turns out um, they aren't. They're traitors. I just found out later that they backstabbed me, and it hurted me so much because I did think of them as, as someone who I thought I could be their sibling, like their real life brother. But then, there's still because when I was in high school, I had this obsession where I think, having a lot of friends would, make me feel safe, make me feel at ease, make me feel like I am more than, what any people would think of me as. But then I had this realization that it doesn't really matter how many friends you have because none of these people, or a lot of these people, you really don't know if they are gonna be with you for the rest of your life. And as I keep on trying to figure out, what kind of friend should I hang out with or what type of people should I talk to, I think there's this kind of factor that the ones who really sticks with you and the one who really stays with you are the ones who's the realest, because there are people that are only like a temporary friend, I guess. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
experienced that, but there are these like circumstances where you know these people I guess they just sort of think of you as a friend that just like a friend that you just walks by and then
Yeah.
you're gonna pass by eventually, and that is something that makes me a little sad because you thought you're gonna get along with them, but also you're not really like in
You
good
guys are
terms.
not
Yeah,
aligned, yeah.
you're not like really suited for each other, I guess. But yeah, having the realest people out there. Shout out to my best friends who's been there for me since day one. Really helps me to, I guess, have this motivation and improvement for myself for what I wanted to, or what I see as a vision for myself and in the future. Because you know what, having the right people by your side, as long as you're with them, you feel like everything's gonna be fine. Through hardships, through good times, through whatever you're going with, as long as you're with them, everything's gonna be all right.
But that is beautiful, honestly, too, because I feel like for me, I did not grow up. I feel like I did grow up with, like, obviously,
Yeah.
temporary friends, friends here and there.
Yeah.
I did have one friend. Her name's Mariah. Shout out to Mariah. I love you so much. Who has just always been like that one friend that just stuck with me. Like, met her in second grade, boom, friends all the way to 20, like, and so on. And I think that not having that many close friends like Mariah. Like I always just thought, okay, that's just my friend right there, Mariah. Like everyone else I encountered with was a friend for sure, but I never took them like to. I never like really tried to bond or connect with them because I just thought I have Mariah, so I don't need to.
Yeah.
But as I as I grow up now, I realize how important it is to have those connections with people, to be able to interact and really relate with people, and to just be able to help someone out whenever you can, you know, whether it is a friend or not or whatever. But eventually, if you do, you guys do become friends. You guys do become connected, you know. And so I feel like growing up like that, I usually kind of always thought like it's just me. Like I have Mariah, but I don't have friends, you know. And as I grow up, I realized it's actually so beautiful to have friends and to have people like that in your circle, because exactly it really does help you out, you know. And it is you against the world, but it's so much easier whenever you do have good people in your corner.
Agreed.
And yes, exactly, and that really do like support you and have your back. And I feel like shout out to your friends too, because exactly, you know, some people come and go, some people just aren't aligned to freaking be in your life forever. And I feel like to those that are, to those that stuck around, we love you.
We love you.
We
so
love
much.
you.
Kisses for you guys.
Literally. And that's going to bring us to the next question, which is what made you want to be a guest on my podcast?
I feel like this is one of the questions that I've been looking forward to hearing. Okay, so here's the thing. I always have this obsession of, because, you know, I am such a huge fan of not just cinema, but also music. And I look up to a lot of these artists like Ariana Grande, Blackpink, Beyonce, you know, a lot of these artists and actors and, you know, basically film and music industry.
Yes.
And whenever they promote their new albums or new music, there's always like, you know, some interviews aligned and some podcasts aligned. And I would just like sort of like watch them out. And whenever I sort of, you know, see through the stories of whoever they're guessing with, whatever interviews they have or podcasts, they had this like, I guess, anticipation where they show a little sneak peek. And then by the time they release the podcast or interview or whatever content video, I would just like spend like hours or maybe sometimes like days just sort of like watching. And I just sort of like figure out, well, not really figure out, but I find myself like trying to portray that I'm also a guest in a podcast.
Okay.
And I guess,
Dude, you literally manifested this shit.
shut the front
You
door.
better-
I think I did too, because literally I first of all, I never knew that Nevea is a host of a podcast. Like I just knew her as a cheerful coworker that I had. And then when I exchanged contacts with her through Instagram, I just found out that, oh my gosh, she's a podcast host. And I was like, shut the front door. I think I'm gonna be suitable as a guest.
Yes!
And then that's the time that I slide into her DMs, because I saw one of her story that she kind of like posted a new podcast video, just a solo podcast video of herself. And I was like, I wonder if I could be a guest. But I just said that as like a little jokey, but also a little serious. And then she was like, Jeremy, you better not be kidding, because I would because I would actually like let you in. And I was like, I'm actually kind of being serious. And then the rest is history, I guess.
Literally,
Here we are. We made it happen, you guys. You can tell how happy I am. And
that's so perfect.
I just want to take this opportunity to really thank you for having me, because
course.
I've never like really shared a lot of my personal stories. Well, I do sometimes with my friends whenever I hang out with them, but not really this deep. I guess
Yeah.
you're the first one to hear a lot of these stories that I said.
my heart.
And I do want to say that your dedication of, you know, hosting a podcast is very much appreciated. I applaud you. I appreciate your effort. Really, guys, I just wanted to say this whole set, I am so obsessed. She really puts so much hard work, and she thinks and really sort of make sure that the guest is very comfortable, which I am, you guys.
Good.
And really, she makes everything so perfect, and I'm just like really so happy to be in here and to just have fun, talk with you, and to catch up, because I haven't seen her for a while, you guys. Like, this is like my first time seeing her again in a while, and I'm very much happy to see that she's doing well, and I'm very much proud of whatever she's going on with her life, starting with this podcast.
That's so sweet. I'm so happy that I asked that question too, because I was like, you know, when I was going through this question, I was like, fuck, what do I ask? But I'm so happy that's why I'm so happy too that you're my first guest, because I feel like you're such a great representation of like what I'm looking for. Like I said, I'm not looking to bring anybody on. I feel like you've been like, you just had such good energy. You've been open like so much. Like I feel like I needed you to be, and I did not come on and tell Jeremy like, look, I need you to do this and this. Like he's just naturally being himself right now, and I feel like I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you reaching out to me and coming out, because would have never thought, like, I kind of would have thought maybe my first guest would be someone that I'm close with, or someone that I, like, family, you know?
Right, yeah.
And I feel like because me and Jeremy we have been coworkers, you know, and obviously we had our little chats and just little, like, you know, energy, like, you know,
like a little
yeah, just our little
how are you?
interactions.
And then that's it. You know?
It's just so cool how, like, everything played out, and I feel like I'm so grateful for that you're here and that you were not kidding. I was so grateful. I know, literally. And I feel like, honestly, it's just so crazy too to think like you wanted to be on a podcast, and here the fuck we are.
Guys.
You know, like
history.
literally manifestation is so real, and I feel like
True. Agreed.
exactly. I feel
100%.
like 100%. Like there's whatever it is in your mind that you can literally believe. If you can come up with it, if you can believe it, if you can stick to it, it's gonna happen eventually.
Yep.
And I'm just so excited. I'm so grateful and I'm so happy. And thanks for saying that you're comfortable, because I'm happy for that as well. Like anybody that I do obviously bring into my podcast, I don't want anyone to feel awkward or feel like anything is staged, you know? So that makes me happy. Thanks for saying that. And this is going to bring us to our last question. What is a life lesson that you have learned so far that you feel the need to share?
One of the life lessons that I really that stick to my mind the most is, no matter how low you feel, or no matter whatever you're going through, whether it is bad, whether it is good, just keep on really going. You know, keep on trying. Like I said earlier, do not ever give up, because once you give up, really nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, once you give up,
nothing's
you give
gonna
up.
work out. It's
Yeah.
it's just gonna stop there. Like, what's gonna happen to your dreams? It's, if you're not really serious about it, well, then it's not gonna work out for you. If you're really just sort of, you know, try and try. I think I had this mindset since I was a kid, because I had like a lot of the times where I wanted to do certain things. Like I was very active in school, such as like, you know, attending clubs and being an athlete. I was a former runner and an athlete.
Okay.
And then I had this times where I feel like a little discouraged because I lost in a championship battle. But then I remember my coach saying, Jeremy, if you have this mindset that you just wanted to give up, you're not going to reach to a certain level of success. Just keep on trying until you succeed, is, you know, like the most common quote that I would always hear. And then no matter how common it is, I feel like it really applies not just to me but also to anyone, because as long as you continue trying your best, really is gonna help you work out and improve yourself to whatever goal you're trying to, you know, reach. And up to this date, I'm still trying my best to work out whatever's gonna work for me in the future. And I think if you guys just have this mindset, I promise you it's gonna work out for you well. And just don't let any people bother you from whatever negativity they spread, because at the end of the day, it's you against the world. And I think by having, you know, a lot of, here's the thing, no matter how much you fail, just keep on trying, really, because keep on going. It's gonna, even though it's gonna take time, I can promise you, you're gonna reach there for sure. You're gonna reach your goal eventually. You're gonna start realizing, you know what, I tried doing this thing a lot of times, and I never thought I'm gonna reach this. And then once you have that thought, you will realize, you know what, I'm just so grateful and I'm just so happy that I did what I had to do. Because if you're not gonna try, like I said, it's not gonna work out for you. So try until you succeed is really what motivates me throughout the day and throughout my life.
That's such a great one. I love that, because that's I just feel like that was perfect. Exactly. Like the only way you can fail is if you give up. I genuinely
100%.
don't believe if you keep pursuing, if you keep putting the effort, there's no way that it will not work out for you. It doesn't make sense at all. So just keep fucking going. I am going to end it there then for us, but I do want to ask Jeremy if you did want to be, did you want to leave any like information of where people could follow you or anything?
I might as well just do it just because I can sort of feel like I'm a celebrity, you know.
You are.
Well, if you guys are interested to follow me, I'm on Instagram. It's _. It's JEREMY.
I'll also leave it down thing so that they'll know how to spell it.
Perfect. So that's my username, and yeah, I do want to say that I mentioned earlier that I think I love being a guest on a podcast, and so far I'm just loving the vibe here, guys. Like really, I feel this comfort, I feel this happiness, and I feel just really. I guess I'm just really grateful for being in here, and seriously, I couldn't ask for more. I'm just so happy, and I'm just wishing you all the best from your podcast career, and I'm always here supporting you from afar. And I'm just always gonna be here, just trying to cheer for you, no matter what happens. And I hope you guys have a good time, and it's a great honor that I'm here.
I'm so grateful that you came on here too. I think you're perfect. And yeah, so you guys go ahead and follow Jeremy if you'd like on his Instagram. I will leave it below, and I will leave it in the description as well. And yeah, we'll end it there. Till my next podcast. I don't know if it'll be solo yet or if it will be with somebody, but just stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for joining. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And until next time.
Bye.